actually looking at doing some life insurance.
Yep.
One of the questions was, have you had any surgeries? And he said, well, I donated a kidney. And I'm like, I put my pen down and I'm like, tell me more.
A story on the news about a boy that needed a kidney, and I was the same blood type. I thought, well, why don't I see if I can be a donor for him? I mean, the story just really touched my heart. Through the testing and everything, I wasn't a perfect match for him, but my wife made the comment. She said, well, you know, you're willing to do it for him. Can they put you on a waiting list for somebody else, if somebody else down the road? And right now there's about 100,000 people in the United States that are waiting for a kidney.
Once you're on dialysis, you're on a list. You're waiting for a transplant. And it's about a 5-year wait on average. Then I got this interesting call from the coordinator. She said, I got something I want to ask you about. We have a donor who wants to donate a kidney to you. And I was surprised. So who'd want to do that? Well, it's anonymous.
I've never had surgery before, so I don't know what I'm looking forward to here, and I remember waking up after the surgery and I was like, oh my God. It felt like a Mack truck had hit me. And they do say, you know, for the donor, the surgery is harder on the donor than the recipient, because as a donor, you go in feeling wonderful, come out feeling like you got hit by a Mack truck. The recipient goes in feeling awful.
I woke up and I go, it worked. I just knew. I don't know why. I just felt better. Kidney functions immediately when it's put in you, so it was already clearing the toxins and working. So I felt better, and it was amazing. A person sits on a chair one day, hears a news report of someone who's in need, and says, I can do that. Who does that? I mean, I'd love to think I did. I would. But I wasn't that guy. He was.
I received a letter at work. I looked at the return address, and it was an address in St. Paul. I opened it up, and I started reading it, and I just started bawling. And the lady that sat next to me wasn't sure exactly what was going on. And she finally turned around and, Jeff, are you okay? And I couldn't speak. I just kind of handed her the letter, and I said, it's the letter I've been waiting for.
We spent time that afternoon talking about each other's lives and about our families and about what we do for a living and what our goals in life were, and sort of just the type of things that people get to know about each other to figure out who they are. Mm-hmm. And I hope I left him with an impression that it was worth it.
First thing he says, I have to ask you, why did you do this? Why did you do this? And I looked over at his daughter and I said, that's why right there. I said, she has her dad. And makes it all worthwhile.
Well, there's only been a few times in my life I have been in tears. My kids being born and meeting Jeff. He inspired a lot of people to do a lot of good things. And my sister needed a kidney. You know, people offer, but my brother-in-law didn't hesitate. He said, well, geez, you know, Jeff offered, how do I do this? How do I just do that? And a couple of his friends now are on lists to be donors, for live donors. So it's spread.
I got connected with the National Kidney Foundation. They have an office in St. Paul, and they've never had any presence up in the North Dakota area. They were looking at wanting to start you know, a kidney walk up here in Fargo or in North Dakota. Would I be willing to help? I thought, oh, I'd love to. And so we kicked off the first kidney walk 6 years ago, and we've been doing one annually. And all the money that we raise from the kidney walk stays local to do free kidney screenings. But you know, the connection with Tammy in giving that money, I'm very thankful to her for that opportunity to give back again to something that's near and dear to my heart.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And Jeff is a complete demonstration of that, and I just have so much respect for what you did.
If Jeff could do that, and all that he went through for us, we have to be somewhat worthy of it. Not just somewhat, we better be pretty darn worthy of it. He went through a lot of pain for us, so I owe him a lot.
And it's just been neat telling other people the story, because around the bank you talk about, well, what you do with your Community Connect. Well, I have a client that donated a kidney to a complete stranger. You know, I kind of one-up everybody.
All right.
So,
To the top.
yeah, he's got to be at the top of the list. So, I mean, you don't meet too many people that will do that, and so that's just been a blessing.